I was walking down the plaza a couple of weeks ago, and I had my 3.5-year-old daughter with me, and as we're walking through the plaza, I don't know if you've been there lately, but the renovations are amazing, and it's like a shopping centre out of Brisbane. And she was memorised by all the decorations that were around the place. And she loved that big round ball that's at one of the entrances, and it's got all lights over it. And she was having a great time walking through that and running around. And for the first time this year too, she wasn't scared of Santa. And she would go within a metre of it. Funnily enough, tonight she was petrified again. That's kids. But I turned to her and I was interested with what she was doing. And I said, I can see you're pretty excited about Christmas coming up. And I said, what is Christmas all about? And she said to me, well, Christmas is about Christmas trees. And I said, well, is Christmas coming up? And she said, no, because you haven't put up a Christmas tree yet, Daddy. So we had to go and buy one that day. And then I said, trying to get a bit more out of her, so what else is Christmas about? And she said, it's about Santa, and it's about presents. I haven't even talked about Santa with her. That's the funny thing. But who knows that Christmas is a little bit more to do than just Christmas trees, presents and Santa. And the other day, being a chaplain at Coolum State High School, had an opportunity to be up at the J. And there's this organisation, I don't even know what the organisation is, and this organisation gets about 50 to 100 volunteers, and they set up the J full of groceries, fruit and veg, presents and clothes. And then they identify about 200 to 500 people in the community, single parents, grandparents that are looking after kids, people that are doing it tough and that are just got nothing to look forward to for Christmas. And they identify these people and they come to the J and they get a big shopping trolley. And they can walk around and they can pick whatever they like, and they have a volunteer that goes with them. And then they get to go up and they can get a present as well for their kids. And as you can imagine, it's quite emotional for these families. They get quite moved with the generosity of the community. And we live in such a great community that is generous. And for me, when Christmas comes up, I get excited because it's an opportunity to be generous. It's an opportunity to be kind, and for me, that's what Christmas is about. I was reading a story about this young girl, 16-year-old in England, and it was Christmas time, and she had lost her father 2 years ago, and from that time that she lost her father, her mother had turned to alcohol and was violent to her. And she would come home and get beaten up, and she'd get beaten up in the middle of the nights. And one particular day, just before Christmas, she had had enough and she grabbed a Coke and she left home never to come back again. Now, as she's walking the streets in winter, in snow, cold, not having anywhere to sleep, she found this church. And this church was unlocked, and she went and she found a pew on the back of the church that she lay down on. And she kept waking up because she thought she'd get turfed out any moment. But one morning she woke up, and instead of being turfed out, she actually found there was a blanket wrapped around her. And she was no longer cold. And this happened for a couple of nights leading up to Christmas till she found permanent accommodation. And she wrote in her book that she'd never forget, and she never met the person that put that blanket on her. But that blanket reminded her at Christmas time, when it got busy, when she got so full of parties and everything that happens around Christmas, it reminded her the real meaning of Christmas. Reminded her to keep the right attitude. Life can be busy. This is my 5th Christmas event this week. And sometimes we can lose what Christmas is really about in amongst the presents, the families, the parties. And I want to encourage you tonight to remember the real meaning of Christmas. The meaning of being kind to one another and generous to one another. So maybe you could write a little thank you note to somebody. Maybe you could give an encouraging letter or make a cake for your neighbour. Or maybe you could take your kids down to Kmart or where there's a wishing tree and pick a name from that tree of a kid that's not going to get a present this Christmas about your kid's age, and teach your kids that it's also good to give. But for many of us here tonight, there's also another meaning of Christmas. And that meaning is the greatest gift that was ever given to mankind, and that's God's Son, Jesus, sent in a manger. And I can only speak from personal experience. I put my faith in Jesus a long time ago, and that faith has given me hope. That faith has given me purpose. That faith has given me peace when I'm going through tough times. It's giving me a meaning to live for. And I don't know where you're at. I don't know what you believe in. It's up to you to decide what you're going to believe in. But I want to encourage you to think about the real meaning of Christmas. Because I know He can give you hope. He can give you purpose. He can give you meaning. So, God bless you this year. Have a very Merry Christmas. Make sure you remember the spirit of Christmas. Be generous, be kind, and maybe think about Jesus. God bless.
Thank you, Mark.